In the 55-inch TV segment, you get TV starting at around 25,000 all the way up to 2 lakhs. But what's worth paying for and what's not? Let's discuss that in today's video. In simple terms, there are 4 main technologies currently: LED, QLED, Mini LED and OLED. As we move from left to right, that is LED to OLED, the picture quality improves significantly, and so does the price. Yes, there are variants even within these like QD Mini LED popularized by TCL, but broadly, you need to understand these to start narrowing down on what you would like to go for. LED TVs give solid performance without a premium price tag. On the other hand, OLED TVs give the best picture quality, color accuracy, blacks and viewing angles. Between the two are QLED and Mini LED technologies, which are a sweet spot from a price to value point of view. A little bit of a trend alert. While the burn-in problems of OLED have reduced over the years, many viewers are now preferring Mini LEDs and the anticipated micro LED displays in TVs over OLEDs. Micro LEDs are not yet available in the India market predominantly, while the prices of Mini LEDs have been coming down in the last year or so. 55-inch TV is the most popular TV size, and I went over hundreds of 55-inch TVs to help you narrow down the best one for your needs. If you're looking for a 43-inch TV or a larger TV, then I've linked to a video here. Now your room setup, your viewing patterns and your budget will decide what TV you need to buy, without overpaying for features you will not use. If you're watching in a bright room, LED and QLED TVs are better choices as they have better brightness. If you're watching TV in rooms with light ambient lights or dark rooms, then a Mini LED or a QLED TV is better as they excel at contrast and deep blacks. If you like good audio, always add a soundbar or a home theater system to your TV. As TVs have gotten slimmer, brands have deprioritized the audios within the TVs. If you watch mainly everyday shows or movies, a TV with a 60Hz refresh rate is good enough for you. Even fast sports like Formula 1 or football can be watched with 60Hz as they are streamed at 50 frames per second, and it is ideal to match the content's FPS with the refresh rate. But if you watch or play games at 120 frames per second, then a 120Hz refresh rate or above is ideal for you. Let's talk about 8K TVs. These are still not worth it in 2026. Almost zero 8K content, and the quality from 4K to 8K is noticeable mostly in larger sizes, not in the 55-inch TVs we'll cover today. Lastly, unlike previous generation TVs which lasted more than a decade, current set of TVs don't have a very high longevity. Budget TVs may last you about 4 to 6 years at best, with mid-range to premium TVs lasting you for about 8 to 10 years. You can directly jump to the recommendations if that was sufficient detail for you to decide which TV you would like to purchase. But if you like details and a step-by-step approach to narrowing down the right TV for you, let's go through it together. There are 3 main aspects to consider: the video performance, the audio performance, and the usability aspects. Let's start with the video performance. HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision are better than HDR10 as they use dynamic metadata to adjust brightness and contrast scene by scene or frame by frame, compared to HDR10, which only uses a static one-size-fits-all metadata for the entire content. But not all TVs support Dolby Vision. Why? Well, Dolby has its own licensing fees. So even premium brands like Samsung, LG and Sony sometimes skip it in their lower cost models to control costs and use HDR10 Plus instead. Having one of HDR10 Plus or Dolby Vision is good. But remember, you may need a premium streaming subscription to get access to this. Next, let's talk about why refresh rate is important. When you're watching fast-moving content, a higher refresh rate helps to display the content smoothly without a motion blur. But do we always need a high refresh rate? No. Let's look at commonly watched content. Cricket generally streams at 50 frames per second. Movies and documentaries run at 24 frames per second for a cinematic feel. And Formula 1 and other action sports stream at 60 frames per second. All of these can be handled quite well by a TV with 60Hz refresh rate. Gaming with dedicated gaming consoles require higher frame rates, so 120Hz display becomes valuable. So your goal should be to get the TV's refresh rate to match your content's frame rate as closely as possible. And this is why budget and mid-range TVs stick to a 60Hz refresh rate, which is good enough for casual viewing, while premium models offer higher refresh rates which are good for gaming. Next thing that determines the video performance is MEMC, or motion estimation and motion compensation. So what is this? It reduces the strain on your eyes during action or fast-moving scenes by creating additional frames between the original ones. Every TV almost in this comparison includes it. Next, upscaling is required when the content you're watching does not match the TV's resolution. So, let's say you're watching cable TV or older YouTube videos, or you're on basic streaming plans. The content resolution is always below the TV's 4K capability. Full HD content only contains 25% of the pixel information. So for a better viewing experience, 4K or smart or AI upscaling, whatever different brands like to call it, will expand the pixel density for a better picture quality. Only the TVs that you see on the screen have 4K upscaling. A little ignored aspect is the processor used in the TV and its importance to video quality. Budget TVs use a basic no-name processor which is fine for casual TV viewing but don't do so well in upscaling, MEMC, local dimming, tone mapping or stability in general, even if they claim support for these. Mid-range and premium TVs use named processors with newer AI or neural processors, like the Samsung AI Neural Quantum Processor, LG's Alpha series, Sony's Cognitive XR, the TCL AI PQ series, the Hisense HiView AI engine, or the Lumio's BOSS processor. Now let's talk about panel type. There is always a debate between the panel type and what is better. But it always depends on how you use your TV. If your seating arrangement is wide, where the TV is viewed from different angles, or you view it in a bright room, then an IPS panel is better for you as they maintain color accuracy across wide viewing angles. Now if your viewing pattern is in a darker room or you watch the TV from a narrower viewing angle, then a VA panel is better as it gives you a better contrast ratio and better black performance. When it is available, I'll share this info in my recommendations. Lastly, the gaming use. If you're a gamer, there are some key things you should be aware of when you're shortlisting a TV for gaming. You should consider a TV with 120Hz refresh rate if you're playing games up to 120 FPS, typically with a PlayStation or an Xbox. Auto low latency mode or the game mode should be looked at to ensure responsive controls, and variable refresh rate should be looked at to reduce screen tearing and stuttering. And then the eARC HDMI 2.1 connectivity with 4K 120Hz or 144Hz is essential for your gaming console. More often than not, budget models lack ALLM or VRR support. While this video is not for gaming TVs, when it is good for gaming, I will highlight that in my recommendations. Now let's come to the audio performance. Remember, adding a soundbar or a home theater setup with your TV is always better, as audio quality of TVs have declined significantly as TVs have gotten slimmer. So if you plan to add a soundbar or a home theater system, you can skip this section altogether and watch the video on soundbar selection that I will link over here. Now there are three main things to look at to determine the audio quality within the TV. The first is the power output or wattage, which only tells us how loud the TV is, not how good the audio quality is. So if you want a loud TV, choose a higher wattage. Next are the number of channels, which then determines the sound experience. Higher the number of speakers or inbuilt subwoofers or up-firing speakers, better the quality. Most TVs include just two speakers, the left and the right. Some TVs include inbuilt subwoofers to enhance the bass experience. And a handful of TVs include upward firing speakers to create a more dimensional sound. Lastly, the audio processing. Having Dolby Atmos or DTS-X is the gold standard. These will help to decompress the audio into multiple audio channels that are available in the TV. Dolby Audio and Dolby Digital are next. Only the TVs that you see on the screen have either Dolby Atmos or DTS-X. Keeping all these three aspects in mind, the TVs that you see on the screen are the only ones to consider when you do not intend to add a soundbar or a home theater system. Lastly, let's talk about how easy or difficult it is to navigate through the TV. The operating system can make or break the viewing experience. Proprietary operating systems like the Samsung's Tizen, LG WebOS, Hisense Vida, or now Xiaomi using the Fire TV OS are optimized for speed and responsiveness. The trade-off is that some users find these less intuitive compared to a Google TV experience, though usability has improved dramatically in recent years. They also don't have niche apps, but that list is reducing. Google TV is the most used operating system across various brands with the widest app coverage and frequent OS updates. Personally, having used all of these OSs over the years, I still find the Google TV experience the most intuitive. In addition to the operating system, having adequate RAM is key for a smooth browsing experience over time. Lumio, TCL, higher end versions of Hisense, Samsung, LG and Sony have a higher RAM than most other TVs which generally cap it at 2 GB. Storage is used for the operating system and the downloaded apps or content. When only a few apps are used, 8 GB is more than sufficient. Now let's talk about the connectivity. Every single TV we've compared today includes the HDMI EARC port for connecting audio equipment or gaming console. Plus they have multiple HDMI and USB ports for additional devices. All are smart TVs, so dual band Wi-Fi connectivity is fairly standard. AirPlay casting has been quite frustrating for many people. On the screen, you can see the TVs that do support AirPlay connectivity. Most TVs have a warranty of 1 year, with Acer, TCL, Hisense, Lumio, Samsung having a 2-year coverage. After going through thousands of reviews of these TV brands, as expected, Samsung, LG and Sony have the best product and service satisfaction metrics. Due to lack of long-term reviews, satisfaction for newer brands like Lumio, New, VW, Acer and so on needs to be seen in the long run. TV is one appliance where I think it would make sense to take extended warranty, especially for the panel when it is available, but only from the brand directly and not from third-party providers. Now that you understand how to narrow down the right TV based on your needs, let's get to my recommendations. Since there are such a wide range of TVs based on different budgets, please jump to the right segment based on your needs. I'll recommend 55-inch TVs in 4 main segments. Starting with the 30 to 45,000 segment, which is where you will find the best value for money in the 55-inch TV segment and why most of my recommendations fall in this segment. So in this segment, you can get budget and mid-range brand QLED TVs like View, TCL, Hisense, Lumio or premium brand LED TVs from Samsung or LG. My first recommendation is the Motorola 2025 model QLED TV. This supports Dolby Vision, a 60Hz refresh rate and MEMC for a good video performance, a 48-watt output with 2 speakers and Dolby Atmos for a decent audio experience, and Google TV for good browsing and navigation experience. As for the cons, although it does support ALLM and gaming features, it does not have a HDMI EARC port for connection of gaming consoles, so it is only suitable for TV viewing or inbuilt games. Service experience is also fairly average. My next recommendation is the View Vibe DV QLED TVs. View TVs generally punch above their weight with great value and are low on budget. The main attraction of this TV is the integrated 88-watt soundbar for excellent audio. So an external soundbar may not be required in most cases. It supports Dolby Vision, MEMC and 4K upscaling for a good video performance. It also has a Google TV with Chromecast for a great browsing experience. Some users do find the rear body a bit plasticky, but that's fine in my opinion at this price point. It does use the IPS panel. My next recommendation is the Hisense E7Q series. This is a 4K QLED TV with a VA panel with Dolby Vision, HDR10+, MEMC and an AI 4K upscaler for sharp OTT or cable TV viewing. Its 48-watt speaker setup is good enough for loud immersive sound without the need of a soundbar in small to medium-sized rooms. As for the cons, service is lagging than the more premium brands. This uses the VIDA operating system, which some users find unintuitive compared to Google TV OS. If you are a gamer, then you can consider the Hisense E7Q Pro series. At a slightly higher budget, it has a 144Hz refresh rate but only a 20-watt speaker. So you will need to add an external speaker or a soundbar setup for a better audio quality in this. My next recommendation at this budget is from the Indian brand Lumio Vision 7 QLED TV. This offers a wide color gamut and Dolby Vision support with AI upscaling as well as MEMC for a great picture quality. A 30-watt output from 2 speakers with Dolby Atmos support for a decent audio quality and Google TV for enhanced browsing experience. It also has one of the largest RAMs of 3 GB, which helps with faster loading and less lag in user experience over time. Since it is a new brand, service network still needs to be validated. Philips is back on my recommendation list with the Philips 8300 series. This is an affordable QLED TV suitable for gaming as well with a 120Hz refresh rate, Dolby Vision and HDR10 support, MEMC and upscaling for great picture quality. It also has a 3 GB RAM with Google TV experience for a stutter-free browsing experience. With 50-watt speakers with Dolby Atmos support, it provides a good sound for small to medium-sized rooms. Overall, a good affordable QLED TV option with vibrant picture quality and gaming-friendly features. If you're looking for a premium brand on a budget, then the LG UA82 series LED TV will be right for you. Compared to all other TVs recommended, this is an LED TV only, not a QLED TV. But coupled with LG's Alpha 7 processor for super upscaling, the performance can be at par with mid-range brand QLED TVs. Service network for LG outperforms all of the other mid-range brands that I have recommended. And lastly, the View Masterpiece Frame Series. This is a 4K QLED TV with an IPS panel for a good wide-angle viewing, a 44Hz refresh rate with ALLM, VRR and HDMI EARC ports for good gaming performance, a 124-watt speaker with a 2.1.2 configuration for a good audio performance without a soundbar, and a 3GB RAM and Google TV experience for a great lag-free browsing experience. Overall, like I said earlier, View TVs are feature-packed at a lower budget. The View Masterpiece Glow, which you will still see available, is an older model but with a slightly inferior configuration compared to the Frame series. Now let's come to the next segment. In the 45 to 65K segment, we start seeing mini LED TVs from budget to mid-range brands like TCL, Hisense, Lumio and QLED TVs from Samsung. Many of the 55-inch LEG QNED TVs are out of stock while making this video, so they are not included in the recommendations. Sony still has LED TVs in this range. My first recommendation is the TCL Q6C Mini LED TV with 312 dimming zones, Dolby Vision, HDR10, MEMC with a 144Hz refresh rate for a great viewing experience and gaming with low lag. It has a 40-watt speaker with Dolby Atmos and DTS:X for a decent audio experience, although it could benefit from an external soundbar or a home theater system to match the audio performance with its video performance. As for the cons, service issues exist across the board. Next is the Hisense U7Q series Mini LED TV. This has a full array local dimming with 900 nits peak brightness. It supports Dolby Vision, HDR10+, MEMC, 4K upscaling and 144Hz refresh rate for a great picture quality. It also has a 40-watt speaker with a subwoofer for decent bass in audio. The Vida operating system supports major streaming apps these days, although not many people are fans of that OS. It is also a good gaming TV with multiple HDMI 2.1 ports, support for ALLM and VRR. As for the cons, service network is average for Hisense. If you're looking for a premium brand in this segment, then you can consider the Samsung Vision AI QLED TV. While it does not support Dolby Vision, it does support HDR10+ with HLG motion accelerator for good visuals. Refresh rate is only 50 Hz, so it's good for casual TV viewing, not great for action sports and gaming. It uses the Tizen operating system with 2GB RAM and 8GB storage. Again, good for casual TV viewing. Sound output is only 20 watts, so it will definitely benefit from a soundbar in larger rooms. Service networks for Samsung is one of the best. The next premium brand in this segment is the Sony Bravia 2 Mark II LED TV. Compared to Sony Bravia 2, there are improvements in the video quality. This has more vibrancy. And in the audio quality, it supports Dolby Atmos and DTS Virtual X. Although it supports ALLM, VRR and HDMI EARC port, it can only be used for games that operate at 60 frames per second or below. Sony LED TVs with their tri-luminous technology make the visual experience comparable to those of QLED TVs. For an even better Sony LED TV, you can consider the Sony Bravia 3, which has a slightly better HDR quality, better brightness and Dolby Vision support. Now in the budget segment under 30,000, you can expect only budget brand LED TVs from brands like VW, Black & Decker, Wobble, iFalcon and so on. You can also get an older model of a mid-range brands like Hisense or Motorola. So my first recommendation is the iFalcon by TCL U65 LED TV. This has a good picture quality with Dolby Vision and MEMC for smooth motion. It uses an HVA panel for vibrant colors and wider viewing angles compared to regular VA panels. It has a Google TV support and 24-watt speaker for decent audio. It does not have any gaming features like ALLM VRR, so it is only suitable for TV viewing. As for the cons, installation and service is average in some parts of the country. Next is the Motorola Envision X LED TV. It is good if you want a good 4K Google TV experience with a good built-in sound at aggressive pricing. It has only HDR support, no Dolby Vision, a 60 Hz refresh rate and a 20-watt speaker output. Good enough for small to medium-sized rooms. As for the cons, brightness and black levels are behind the QLED Motorola models and the service network is average at best. At a budget, this gives a good value. Next is an older model, the Hisense E6N series which has a VA panel with a direct LED backlight with a 5000:1 contrast ratio. It has Dolby Vision, HDR10 and HLG support as well as a 4K upscaler for a good video performance. With a 60Hz refresh rate, VRR, ALLM and HDMI port, good enough for casual gamers, not hardcore gamers. Unlike most Hisense TVs, this one uses Google TV and not VIDA. The Toshiba C350 NP series is exactly the same as the Hisense E6N, not surprising as Hisense now manufactures Toshiba TVs as well. Lastly, in the over 65,000 segment, we get QLED TVs, Mini LED TVs, OLED TVs from premium brands like LG, Samsung and Sony. My opinion, OLED TVs in this size are quite overpriced and give a low price to value, so it should be skipped unless you go for a larger size. Secondly, OLED TVs at this price from LG are quite old models. I have only one recommendation in this segment, and that is the Sony Bravia 5 Mini LED TV. This Sony Mini LED TV includes the XR cognitive processor, Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. It delivers vibrant colors at 120Hz refresh rate, excellent upscaling, deep blacks, good local dimming and a smooth upscaling for low quality content. It also has gaming features, a 120Hz refresh rate with support of ALLM, VRR and HDMI 2.1 EARC port. This is a newer, more affordable mini LED version of the Bravia 7, but the Bravia 7 has more premium cinematic experience with brighter highlights, deeper contrast and more vivid colors, if that's what you prefer. If you found this video useful, share the video and subscribe to become part of the 2 lakh plus community that trusts us with their decision making. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.